So you don't want to do that with a cop, you know, and especially a cop that knows how to fight pretty good too.
See the John Jones thing?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. John Jones and Daniel Cormier got in this huge scrap at a press conference. It was ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
John Jones got in Daniel Cormier's face, put his forehead on Daniel Cormier's forehead, and Daniel Cormier grabbed John Jones by the neck and pushed him away, and John dropped his belt, and then it was just bodies colliding.
Wow.
And John immediately, I guess, you know, it's a wild scramble, but John was on top. And John was like, I took you down so quick, within 7 seconds you were on your back. And you're like, oh no, like the shit talking just escalated to a totally different level. And John Jones put out a video that said, you suck, you're so weak. When I got a hold of you, you felt so weak. Like it's really, and then he deleted the video, which is really interesting. See, this is what happened.
Poor guy in the middle.
Yeah, that guy, like, this is just a colliding
Oh my God.
pile of bodies.
Dan is on vacation. He wasn't even there.
Yeah.
For all this.
Yeah, this can't happen. I can't do that. This is real bad for the sport. It's real bad. It's real bad for public perception. It's a weapon to be used against MMA. You know, it's unfortunate. What you got to have, everybody should have, is a no contact policy. Unless guys agree to hug, you know, you agree to shake hands and hug, you should have a no contact policy. And anybody who clearly violates that no contact policy gets fined. You know, that some guys can deal with it, that getting in each other's face, but when you have a situation like this, you know, you got to have a no contact policy with those guys.
Yeah, because like the weigh-ins, they're always doing the forehead stuff and like getting in people's face. That's like,
I don't know, man. I think it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And some of it's gamesmanship, but it's just so bad for the image of the sport.
Is that starting to happen more often?
No, it's pretty rare.
Okay.
It's pretty rare, but that's a big high-profile fight.
Yeah.
I mean, like Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate, they got head-to-head in each other's faces, and it was pretty hot, right?
yeah, it's sexy.
Pretty hot.
I saw where you were looking.
But they were professional about it. They didn't do anything about it. These guys were not professional. Like,
Yeah, it was like immediate.
yeah, you can't do that. You know, you can't grab each other and fucking slap. You know, and if you say, "Hey, I don't want to headbutt you, man," you know, but nobody wants to give ground. You know, they don't. You know, they don't want anybody getting any psychological advantage, and so they have to show each other like I'll fucking fight you right here, bitch.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's when shit like this happens. It's like they just have to treat it. You got to. This is like the importance of that not happening is huge. It's huge. It's just such a negative connotation attached to what that is. That's just violence. The difference between that kind of violence and the violence of a sport is the violence of a sport is everyone's agreeing to this scenario. You're agreeing to train for X amount of weeks. You're going to fight for X amount of rounds. You're going to fight this guy. He weighs what you weigh. Everybody prepares. You meet at this day and you compete. And it's a very dangerous form of competition, and yes, it is fighting as a competition, but it's not violence the same way that is. That's a street fight. That's a world champion mixed martial arts fighter and an Olympic wrestler, and they're street fighting. That's bad for everybody. That's bad for wrestling. That's bad for MMA. That's bad for sports. It's fun for people to watch.
World
you
star.
know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's part of me, I have two ways of looking at it. Part of me is like, that's bad for the sport. But part of me is like, how do I feel about it, though? Does it bum me out? No. No, it doesn't make me upset. I'm not upset. I'm looking forward to watching this fight even more now.
Yeah.
Look, would I have liked it to not happen? Absolutely. Absolutely. I wish that they were very professional about this. They don't need to do that. That fight's going to be amazing no matter what happens. But since it did happen and I got to see it, I'm like, whoa, I'm not going to pretend that that's not fun. You know, I'm not going to pretend that that didn't make everybody way more excited about that fight, because it fucking for sure did. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good to do. But it was fun to watch, and more people are going to be excited about the fight. I mean, that's the catch-22. There's no real black or white about this. You know, as a representative of the sport, I absolutely wish it didn't happen. As a person who cares a lot about the future of the sport and the public's perception, which I think is already a little skewed. I think there's a lot of people that aren't fans that like to look at the people that fight in MMA as just barbarians. But there is a lot of nice guys that fight in the UFC, and they're some of the nicest athletes you'll ever meet. That's a fact. So part of me gets bummed out when I see shit like that. But part of me is like, look, they're gonna fight eventually anyway.
Yeah.
So they fought a little here.
Yeah,
to get
they're
a
just
little,
being passionate.
Just getting a little taste. Getting a little taste. I don't know. It's gonna be a wild ass fight though.
When is that fight?
It's a good question. It's I think it's September 27th in Vegas. Is that it, or is the weekend of the 27th? Either way, it's on like Donkey Kong Son. It's gonna be exciting. But it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate.
So as far as now, they didn't get in any trouble.
I don't know. I mean, Dana's on vacation.
Right.
I mean, I read that they were going to get in trouble. There's some thing in the contract, that you can't do that shit.
No
well,
press
there's
conference fighting.
Yeah.
There's a thing that says there will be consequences.
Right.
That's the statement, the official statement. There will be consequences.
It's almost scarier than saying what's going to happen.
Yeah, that sounds very
We will
vampire.
contact you.
It's very vampire-like.
Yeah.
There will be consequences to your actions.
You don't get any of the headphones to wear during the fights.
Have you been watching The Strain? You've been watching The
No,
Strain? The Guillermo del Toro show on